Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
The great Jason Aldean. He should be the halftime show. I said it at 6:30 this morning. I'll say it again. No disrespect to Kid Rock, but stop it. Please, I'm begging you. If you're not 80, I mean, you got Jason Aldean. You got the other guy, Luke Bryant. My next guest, Brilyn, he had a great idea. This girl now has popped up as a Donald Trump lover. What about Nicki Minaj? You're going to tell me that more people wouldn't watch Jason Aldean and Nicki Minaj than Kid Rock and three people we've never heard of? Sorry, Turning Point. Nice try, because I'll never watch Bad Bunny in a million years or those assholes from Green Day. No, thank you. But you got to do better than Kid Rock and three people we've never heard of. We've heard of this guy, Brilyn Hollyhand. He's been on this show a bunch of times. What an impressive kid. Now going to be going to his sophomore year at Auburn University. Started on this show when he was still in high school. And I believe that Charlie Kirk found this kid when he was in the 4th grade. Is that right, Brilyn?
Yes, sir. Good morning to you. Thanks for having me back. This is pretty fun to be here.
Nice to have you. You actually wanted to come back. I like that.
Absolutely.
Like, I'll be in New York.
I'm a returning customer. It's always fun.
I love that. Tell me quickly in like 60 seconds, 4th grade, what happened? How did Charlie Kirk find you?
Yeah, I started paying attention. I was 4th grade, 11 years old. It was the time of the 2016 election. Wanted to get involved. I know this will surprise you, Sid. An 11-year-old can't run for office. She can't even start a Twitter account. So I had limited options, but I decided I was going to start a podcast. And Charlie Kirk happened to be coming to speak at my local campus. I'm from Tuscaloosa, so college football is like in my backyard. And he happened to come give that speech, and I just DM'd him saying, hey, can I have 10 minutes of your time? I just want to talk.
You DM'd him?
DM'd him. He gave me 30 minutes. I didn't think he'd ever see the DM.
He answered your DM, and he gave you 30 minutes.
And it started a friendship that lasted, the last 8 or 9 years, just getting to have him as a mentor. Still somebody to this day that, if I have a career opportunity or have some, crisis I need mentorship on, still take out the phone, still type in his name to call him, and then realize, that he's not there. It's just, it's still sad. But I think we're getting to a point where we're seeing the fruit that's come out of that tragedy of the revival in this generation, and so many people that didn't pay attention to politics before because that didn't affect them, and now they're seeing just how dirty the left is. So.
I remember texting you the day of, you were on TV that day with Will Cain, I believe.
Yeah, good memory.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the next day, that weekend, you went to see Erica Kirk, and you're not going to talk about Turning Point. I am. I said this yesterday. People grieve differently. I feel horrible for Erica Kirk, but it's odd the way she's grieving. That's the word I'll use. It's odd. And I don't like a lot of people that are involved with TPUSA, especially Tucker Carlson. So I want to love TPUSA because I did love Charlie. I want to love it, but I don't. Regardless, I do love you. And I don't like this generation because we've got a mayor who I call Jihad Boy, and I will continue to call him that. People are dying in the streets of New York City from the snow and the cold. This idiot is giving out free tours to David Dinkins' building yesterday. I swear to God. But it was young people like you, Brilyn, that voted this putz in. They will tell me, no, he stole the election. They flew in people. Stop it. Siggy, stop it. Stella, stop it. He stole nothing. He won this election because people your age, Brilyn, love this guy.
Yeah, you're right. Sid, your mayor's a joke. It's insane. This is my first time coming to the communist capital of the world in the past month, and I had trouble getting into your studio, stepping over the trash that's piling up on the streets because the guy has frozen urine, frozen throw up, and trash piled up mile high. And he's been in office for a month as of yesterday? I don't understand this insanity that this guy was elected, but you're right. Gen Z elected him. Why? Because he dangled free things and emotions in front of our generation, and we bought the lie. We bought the continued lie that socialism works, and I'm here today to tell your audience that it doesn't. Socialism is the gateway drug to communism, and he ran on an attack on capitalism. Now, our generation was raised through indoctrination instead of education. We were raised to feel guilty for capitalism and said, I'm tired of feeling guilty for capitalism. I'm tired of being told that because our system works, that we should feel bad for all the people that don't have systems that work. Just think of this. If capitalism is so bad, why is our country bailing out the rest of the world whose systems aren't working? We don't just feed America. We're feeding Europe and Africa and every nation that's failing. We are the country that is the supreme power in this world. Why? Because of capitalism. I'm sorry if that offends you. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings. It's how America stood the test of time for 250 years. And as long as I'm fighting, it's not going to stop today. Your jihad mayor can fight as long as he wants to. He will be out of office. And I hate to say this, he's probably going to fail the city. It's going to be an experiment for the rest of the country to say, whoa, socialism actually doesn't work as well as they say it does on TikTok. Maybe let's not continue to vote that into power. I hate that y'all had to be the guinea pig, but I hope that this wakes up the rest of Gen Z and the rest of the world to come 2028, because I had a CNN reporter call me this week and say, Brilyn, are you concerned about the deep bench of the Democrat Party come 2028?
The what?
I said, what deep bench?
Who they got?
Their party nominee right now is Zohran Mamdani or AOC or Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah.
Like, that is their loudest voices. This is the socialist wing. And what happened here? They didn't get rid of their fringe that when they were the Squad. Remember the Squad when they had those press conferences with Tlaib and AOC and Ilhan Omar? They were this loud minority on the left that were screaming from the bully pulpit, and they didn't take care of that problem by saying, we will not allow that. Now they've seeped into the base. They've rooted the entire Democrat Party that used to be our grandparents, yellow dog Democrats.
Yeah.
That's not a thing anymore.
That was me.
The wake-up call of that is to make sure that we don't allow that to happen to the right. This extreme fringe that you mentioned at the top of the segment, this right extreme fringe that's parroting the exact same talking points as the left, anti-Semitism, attacking this movement, it has to be stopped before it seeps into our party, because we'll look back one day and say, we could have prevented and we didn't because we were too selfish.
It's already seeping in, and a lot of that falls on J.D. Vance, more than Trump, because he's friends with Tucker. Candace Owens, she's another problem for our party, I'm sorry. So it's already seeping in. The question becomes, besides me and some others, who out there is going to have the balls to try to stop it? And also, don't forget, not just free stuff, he also ran on anti-Jewish. And I keep reminding everybody who leaves that out, that in this city, that works. If you don't like Jews in this city, I know you're laughing, you can't believe it, but that works. But here's my other problem, okay? It wasn't the Gen Z kids, Brilyn, black families where the kids really had nothing going, okay? And they were poor and they lived, really miserably. It wasn't that. The kids that voted for this guy are the white rich kids. The kids living in apartments in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, that you and I can't even afford.
Who he wants to tax more.
Who wants to tax more, right? These morons. But they're kids, they don't get it. Yeah, but mom and dad may have something to say about that. So it's not like they're kids who came from nothing and he's out there to help them. A lot of his voters were millionaires, some billionaires, and wealthy kids from wealthy parents who are living very nicely in Williamsburg or the Upper East Side.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because we've been indoctrinated with this idea that we're privileged and we should feel guilt for our privilege. Therefore, giving socialism to this city is going to save it, in his words, and that's how we get rid of this privilege, that we give back to the lower communities. Just think about this. Every single poverty situation in the entire global hemisphere happens with socialism. But every single time that we do a food rescue, every single time that the U.S. has to step in, that's from capitalism. We are saving the world with our society that stood the test of time for 250 years. Why we would, one, let it seep into New York? No, that didn't happen. Y'all opened the front door and said, walk on in. And I think this has to get to a point where, thankfully, people wake up, where we say we will not allow this, because the second that socialism seeps into this country, and it's already here, unfortunately, it's going to be really hard to convince people to get it out.
And those communities, Danielle, you're right, Park Slope, Upper West Side, and you're right, socialism has already, seeped in, and there are more and more candidates running around the country. And we're seeing, socialism, radical Islam all over our country.
Which are connected, directly connected.
Thank you. So whether it's Patterson, New Jersey, what we're seeing with the Somalians in Minnesota, or Dearborn, Michigan, those are just three. There are many, many, many more that people don't talk about.
And speaking of Islam, there's some people that are former friends of ours on the right that really love to say that they're not going to attack Islam, that they're not going to go into that. I just want to be the first person to be very vocal against that. That is a radical mindset that's not a religion, but it's violence, a violence against Americans, a violence against Christians. And if you're going to sit here and defend and protect and make excuses for people that make an entire living out of killing Christians, I don't want you to, one, be a part of our party, or two, be a part of this circle where you can just sit and say, we're going to make excuses for Islam. That is not how this country was founded. We were founded as a Christian nation. I'm tired of being told to feel guilty for being founded as a Christian nation. I'm tired of being told that was just not how it was. It simply was. I paid attention in history class. I know all the other schools are too worried learning learning gender pronouns in their history classes. But my founding was very, very clear. We were founded on religious persecution of people fleeing to come to this country to be able to express their Christian thoughts. Yes, absolutely, we have religious freedom. Yes, absolutely, go practice your religion. Islam is not a religion. It's a violent mind cult that we've allowed to seep in, and it's directly tied to socialism. Why? Because people like your jihadi mayor have decided to seep in and use that as this little catalyst to get into other cities. It's not going to stop in New York City. Their mastermind plan is to spread all the way to the California coast. They're just starting here because it was the easiest to seep into. It started through TikTok manipulation. It started during COVID when people got upset with government and they said, don't you want to fix to this? What if you just, this doesn't make any sense to me, Sid, but what if you just let the government control more of your life because you don't know what you're doing, you can't handle it? Because that makes a lot of sense to ignore Reagan's famous words that the government is not your friend, that the scariest words in the English language are, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. No. Gen Z didn't listen to that. They listened to the Zohran Mamdani guy who had this really great, wonderful video skills, but no vibes and policies behind it. I think we should have learned from the Kamala Harris campaign that vibes alone should not get you elected. You have to have some policies. Unfortunately, Zohran's policies are what? Universal health care and universal child care. This is insane. I got into New York City, 2 days ago. I get into the taxi cab. The very first thing I see is his face in the back of the taxi with this indoctrination clip trying to get in the minds of people saying, we're going to have universal child care and we're going to have universal pre-Ks. That is intentional indoctrination to the minds of the young people in this car saying this is normal. But did anybody ask how he's going to pay for it? He can't pay to clean up your streets. I'm looking at trash bags piled up in the streets. I'm looking at frozen throw up. He can't pay for that.
No.
But somehow he's going to pay for this universal child care. Where's the money coming from?
Wow.
There is no money.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.